Depending upon how much you use your trailer, wheel bearings should really be greased once a year. Some have a fitting on the end of the hub, that cup, but some don't, like this one. You want to make sure that your wheel bearings are good so you're not driving down the road and you get yourself into big trouble. So today we're going to check these 4 wheels, we're going to change bearings, and we'll show you how to do it. Now we're changing all 4 bearings on this, but just to show you how to check them, you just grab it. See how that's moving and clunking? That's no good. And we just got through putting one in the back here, and that's rock solid, not going anywhere. But this one, no good. So let's change it out. Another option, if you're in a pinch and that tire shakes like that, you can do what we're doing here. Pull the cup off, pull the pin out, the cotter key, and just tighten that nut on the end, assuming your bearings are okay. You see how that's loose? But we're going to go ahead and pull it out and change the bearings. Got a nut on there, and then a washer. And there's our new set of bearings.
That whole kit is $45 compared to about, if you buy them individually, it's about $70. Okay, your inner bearing is the big bearing, and it runs in the race, and the race is actually pressed into the hub, so you got to knock all that out and then replace it with the new race. I have tried to leave the race in and put a bearing in there, and a different manufacturer for a different bearing has a different angle. Always match your race with your bearing. If you're not going to replace your race, don't replace your bearing. Use the old bearings. It'd be better than to match it up wrong. I had that to happen one time and trying to take a shortcut, and the bearings didn't last to the beach and back. So always make sure you got the right kit together. And the smaller bearings the same way in the front side.
That's the outside.
The outside bearing. Here we go. We're going to knock them out.
You keep working your way around there so it's coming out straight as possible.
Sometimes they break. Sometimes they break off. But it's all out. That's the seal. I like to clean all that old grease out in case it's got any metal shavings in it. Now we're ready for our inside bearing. The race goes in, locks in tight, and then the bearing, and then the seal. It's copper.
Copper, soft
Copper
metal.
hammer, soft metal.
Now those are together just to get the race started, right?
Right. Then you use a brass piece to knock the race all the way into the bottom.
And that's a softer metal than the race, so it won't ruin the race.
can hear it when it hits the bottom. Okay, it's bottomed out. You can actually hear it and feel it in your hammer when you put it in there. I like to put the bearing in. I like to grease the bearing up really good before I put it in there. I like to grease them up really, really good before I put them in there. Make sure they're packed full of grease before I put them in.
And that's good for your skin, right?
Nope, probably not.
So it's good to wear rubber gloves.
I got a box of rubber gloves right there.
And how do you pack that in? You just push it in the end?
Push it in there. It keeps disappearing. And when you get done putting it in there, you'll about run out of grease out of your hand, and you'll know it's all packed in the bearing.
And you go from the top and bottom, not around the side?
Not around the side.
Okay.
When you give them the top and the bottom, it runs out of the sides.
Got it.
And it's packed full now. So when it first starts rolling, it's already got grease in it. And we'll take the extra grease and stick down in there, which we're gonna put the seal in on top of that. Don't waste any. Get it all off your skin so it won't hurt your skin. Okay, now we put our seal in there. Very gently. That's actually made it flush around that whole end right there. Need to take the race out first. I just got ahead of myself.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Yeah. Okay, you start this one the same way. Just put a rubber or brass hammer over it. Give it a tap. This one's loose anyway. Went right in there. Okay, we're ready to put it back on. Fill her full of grease. Tighten her down. Ready to go. We're going to put excessive grease in this hub. And that way you won't have to fill it up after you get the bearings all back in there. It's going to have plenty of grease, as you'll see. And this is wheel bearing grease. This is not chassis grease, this is wheel bearing grease. The chassis grease is a little bit thinner, and the wheel bearing grease stands to heat more. Okay, we're ready to go. Before I put the hub on, I'm going to clean this axle off and make sure, first of all, we can look at the brakes. The brakes on this thing are perfectly well. It looks like they really haven't used them. He doesn't use this trailer very much, so you can tell the brakes haven't been used very much. But I clean all this excess old grease off and make sure that where it runs, where the seal runs on this ridge right here, that it's getting clean. It doesn't have any trash on it or old grease with dirt in it. This seal right here rides right here. You want that a clean fit. When you put it back up on there, you want it to fit tight and not have trash on it. And here's all that excess grease that we packed in there, and we're going to leave it in there. It's going to go back in there. We're going to pack this bearing just like we did the other one. And if you'll see how much grease is on my hand, all that grease is going to end up in this bearing, believe it or not. Dirty hands.
You're a magician.
They'll be clean. We put the washer and the nut on, and we're going to tighten this nut up pretty snug. We're going to roll it around and get the grease rolled around in there. We're going to keep Tighten this up. Roll this. I'm getting tight now. I like to tighten them up till they quit. And then loosen them till they release. Give them a little more for freewheel. And then you have to match where your hole is. Very crucial. If you don't put this in, the wheel's going to run off. Bottom line. That's the most important part right there. You got to put it in and bend it down so you don't run the wheel off. I've got to turn this to where we meet the hole.
So you back it off or whatever, just a little bit.
Yeah, I'll back it off instead of tightening it up more. We found our hole. I've bent these both ways so as not to interfere with the cup. You don't want it scrubbing on the cup and getting hot. You got to make sure they're bent all the way back to where they don't touch the cup. It'll never go anywhere. I put a little grease in the end of the cup. I put enough grease in the cup to where it'll have some outside grease to go back up into the center. I have a socket that just fits the rim of that cup.
Probably not going to have that for most homeowners, but they could use a rubber mallet to put it on, right?
Yeah, you can put them on. They get beat up like that when you put them on and off without a tool, so it's better to put them on with a tool. And that's one thing good about the kit. You get a new hubcap with the kit, and you don't if you just buy the bearings. So I love to put the new ones on. It makes the whole job look professional. Just like downtown, we'll put the wheel back on and I'll show you how much play it's got. One little thing too, if you turn one of your bolts straight up and down, you know where it's at when you put your tire on. Put your tire back on with it straight up and down, you don't have to hunt it. It's right here.
Start all those by hand so you don't get them cross-threaded.
Okay. You saw it a while ago how it shook. We don't have no plate, none whatsoever in it.
Beautiful.
Rolls smooth as silk. It'll last a long, long time.
Now, if this guy uses it a fair amount in the next year, what can he do to re-grease those bearings?
Bring it back over here and let me grease them. That's the best way to do it. Let somebody that knows what they're doing it. But if you want to grease them yourself, put your screwdriver in there and wedge this off. Take it off. Take your Carter key out, long pin, take it all the way off, and re-grease the inside of the bearings like we did when we put it on. Put some grease in the hub, grease that bearing, and put it all back together again with a new Carter key. Get your 4 new Carter pins and some grease, and that's all you'd have to have. 3 down, 1 to go.
All right. I hope this video was a help to you. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And we look forward to helping you with other projects online.